him off. Come on, let's get moving with this stuff.
Okay, calm down.
Hey, Nora, come on, more drinks over here. Yeah, I got a new car the other day. Yeah.
Did?
Yeah.
What kind of car?
Wow, Buick. The best. There's no Buick 8s. Yeah. How's the chances? What's the verdict?
Can't last another 24 hours.
When's the old coot gonna go?
How about some pictures? Last moment stuff.
No.
That's the daughter. She's tougher than the old man.
How you feeling, Sam?
Oh, this blasted thing's eating my guts away. Did you see that editorial in the Albany paper? That fellow won't take orders. Fire him.
I did.
That's my girl.
White House called to ask about you.
You should call. If those Republicans hadn't knifed me, he wouldn't be in the White House. I'd be dying there. Well. Anything else?
Longstreet called.
Longstreet, that buzzard made me an offer for the papers. Willing to keep my name on the masthead, he says.
I'll keep it there, Sam. You don't need Longstreet or anybody else.
Kay, I used to hate you for being a girl. I always wanted a son like me. But you're bigger than any son. A woman's body with a man's brains. My brains. Use them. You'll make the White House, Kay, one way or another. The Republican Party owe us that. Don't forget it.
I won't forget it.
Men are weak, vain, idealistic. I can't stand the pain. I can't stand the pain any longer. I've had enough.
Sam!
Women are the only realists until they get sentimental. Don't you ever get sentimental, Kay?
I never have.
Goodbye, girl. I guess I'll call it a day. You're the chief from here in.
I'm gonna miss you, Sam.
Yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Make those heads roll. Make those heads roll. Hey, gorgeous.
Well, if it isn't the poor man's Hopper.
Hey, a new talent.
Better get in there before they find another columnist.
Wait a minute, who's in there with the lion tamer?
Big secret. Came in through the fire escape.
Tailored? Tailored politician?
Yep.
Tailored Republican politician.
Uh-huh.
Tailored worried Republican politician.
All politicians are worried today.
Jim Conover, announce me.
Spike McManus is here.
Send him in.
Hello, boss. Hello, Jim. What's cooking?
You will be if one word of this meeting gets out.
Hey, boss. Freedom of the press.
If you must grace your column with my name, it's Conover. Conover. You spell the can opener, can over. Everything but Conover.
I don't squawk. I haven't spelled it conniver yet.
Let's skip the jokes. Jim, you know the Republican convention this year can end in a deadlock. If that happens, it'll give you a chance to name your own man.
I don't know anything.
My uncle with the two heads does.
Mike.
He tells me they're following the usual Republican policy. Taft's, Dewey, Stassens, and Vandenbergs, they knock each other out of the running even before the convention.
That's providing a perfect track for a dark horse. If we get a strong candidate in 1948, we'll have better than a fighting chance. The party's best chance is to put up a candidate who's never been identified with politics.
Which leaves you, Mr. Conover, a fight manager looking for a good heavyweight who can punch.
I think I have your man, Jim.
Oh, yeah, you and everybody else.
This is Kay Thorndike, not everyone else.
I'm sorry, Kay, but it's just that you have to show me I'm from Missouri.
Ha! If you were from Missouri, you'd have a job in Washington.
Let's lay off the jokes.
All right, Kay, let's have it. Who's your man?
Item 1, born in Nevada.
But there's never been a Western president.
Well, there are Americans out there, too. Item 2, self-made, sold newspapers, worked his way through school. Item 3, good war record. Partisan Lafayette Escadrille WW1 decorated by 3 governments.
Ancient history.
Item 4, started a 2x4 airplane factory, ran it up into the biggest thing in aviation today. Look at me when I'm talking to you. First industrialist to introduce Labor Management Plant Administration. Never even been threatened with a strike. He'd have labor in one pocket, big business in the other. Are you interested?
No. What's Horatio Alger look like?
Women have been crazy about him all his life, if that's what you want to know.
Guess that lets me out.
And the men?
Part owner of a ball club.
Ever run for office?
Not even dog catcher.
And what's given him
Hates
this...
politics.
What has given him this presidential yen?
Oh, he hasn't got it yet. You're going to give it to him. On the newsstands tomorrow.
Our planes have wings, but not our ideas.
You could make him the next president, Jim.
Okay, I am not terribly impressed. I never am by amateurs, but if you and Grant Matthews happen to be in Washington and you knock on my door to get out of the rain, well then we can... Well,
I'll
then we can...
get him there.
But I have been trying to make this clear all afternoon. I don't want to be president of the United States.
Guess the job isn't big enough for him, boss.
President, holy smoke. Why, when I was a kid, my dad took me on a 2-day vacation just to look at President Taft.
On a clear day, you could see him for a couple 100 miles.
Yeah, you sure could. After he passed, my father slapped me right across the face. When I asked him what that was for, he said, just so you'll never forget the day you saw the President of the United States. Well, Mr. Conover, I've listened to some pretty tall reasons around here why I could run for president. Self-made man, friend of labor, dark horse, and all that stuff. All very flattering, I might add. But could I ask you, a professional politician, to give me one good reason why I, Grant Matthews, should run for the biggest and best job in the world when there are 10,000...
Oh, wait a minute. I am not saying that you should be president. Let's understand each other. I was under the impression that Miss Thorndike brought you down here to sell me on the idea, not for me to sell you.
Let's not be childish. No one's trying to sell anybody anything.
Kay, the man doesn't want the job, and hundreds of others do. We are wasting our time.
That's right, Kay. He's right. We're wasting his time. I'm not interested in politics or in politicians.
And I don't like airplanes.
Well, that makes us even. Although I could get to like you, Mr. Conover.
Mr. Matthews, it's no skin off my nose, but just for my private files. You made a speech in Cleveland that made the front pages all over the country. Even the New York Times with that stuff about either we pull together or get pulled apart. Every Republican leader wishes he'd made it.
So?
So, I'm trying to get it through my lame brain. If you have no interest in politics, why'd you make that speech?
Now, wait a minute. I can be interested in the country without being interested in politics.
Well, that'll surprise Jim Common.
Well, I don't care who it surprises. Don't get the idea I'm not interested in what's going on. I like this country, Mr. Conover. It's been darn good to me. I started off with a screwdriver and a monkey wrench in 2 years of high school, and I built the Matthews aircraft. You ever fly an airplane? Oh, no, that's not, you don't like airplanes, do you? Better not elect me president then. I'd make it a law that every politician spend at least 100 hours in the air.
These days, most of us are up in the air all the time.
Well, the next time you're up there, Mr. Conover, look down. Look down on Pittsburgh, for example. What do you see?
Smoke.
That's right, smoke from steel mills. Miles and miles of steel mills. But you see something else too, don't you? Farms, factories, lumber, mines, railroad, business, management, labor. Not one able to exist alone, but together. Working together with courage and imagination, that makes America. That's a great picture from the air, yeah. But you come down to earth and walk into one of those meetings like that one in Cleveland, What do you find? Farmers, cattlemen, lumbermen, business labor, they were all there. All working together? Ha, in a pig's eye. All scared to death, all fighting each other. Each one out for the biggest piece of the apple. Well, there aren't that many bites in the apple, Mr. Conover. That's what I was talking about in Cleveland. And that's why I'm surprised you asked me here.
Why surprised?
Because you politicians, instead of pulling the country together, are helping to pull it apart just to get votes. To labor you promise higher wages, lower prices. To management, higher prices, lower wages. To the rich you say, let's cut taxes. To the poor, soak the rich. To veterans, cheaper housing. To builders, uncontrolled prices. There's no halo around my head, Mr. Conover, but that's what keeps men like me out of politics. Hooray! You didn't ask me to make this speech, did you? You just asked me what I said. Let that be a lesson to you.
Mr. Matthews, you just created the ideal political platform. Drown the politicians.
Very funny! Mr. Matthews, if you believe those things and you're not just spouting to hear yourself talk, you've just given yourself several reasons to run.
That's my whole point. The only way to correct those evils is to get into politics. Get into the White House where you can do something about it.
Okay, you just don't get into the White House. Millions of people have to vote for you.
You're not afraid of the job, are you, Grant?
What do you mean I'm afraid? Of course I'm not afraid. I'd make a darn good president. What am I saying? You've got me doing it now.
I would like to pause at this moment and take a one-man Gallup poll. What chance do you think Mr. Matthews here might really have, Jim?
Oh, I don't know. Any native-born American over 35 has a chance.
Jim, on Tuesday, Grant starts a tour of all his plants. Everywhere he's going, he's been invited to speak.
Now, wait a minute. I'm going to be pretty busy, you know. I have troubles in all those plans.
Grant, you've got to go along with us that far. Try it out. At least you get a few things off your chest. Spike, you go along with him. You've been telling everyone for years how to run a campaign. Now we'll see if you can really run one.
Fine, I'll go over to the White House and tell the Trumans to start packing.
Yes, Nora, what is it? Nora!
Do you know a man named Mac?
Mac who?
Just said to say,
I'll take it.
oh,
What is it now?
I forgot to tell you, Senator Fosdick is here.
Ex-Senator Fosdick.
Last, what does that lame duck want now?
Lame. The last election broke both his wings.
Well, he may get elected sometime. Put him somewhere.
My room's the only one that isn't full up.
He can have mine in 20 minutes.
Oh, no. Give him a drink. We'll get him settled later.
No more drinks, boss. Too many people. I quit now. I'm out of here. Quitting.
She'll be back in the morning. Anyway. Hello? Oh! Yes, great. It was great. I've been waiting to hear from you, Mac. Oh. Wait a minute. I will take this call in another room.
I'll hang up as soon as you're on.
You don't mind?
I thought we were going to trust each other.
Only when we're in the same room.
I don't get this. If he's really serious about me as a possible candidate, the Republican Party must be pretty desperate.
The party isn't desperate, just Conover. If he doesn't personally select the next Republican candidate this year, he may as well turn, if you'll pardon the expression, Democrat.
Are you on? I'll hang up.
Kate, put that down.
Wait a minute, what?
Someone's been looking you up.
Uh-oh.
They've found some gossip on you and me.
Ooh, uh-oh.
There's some talk about Mary, too. Mary and that major.
Who's Mary?
Mrs. Matthews.
Oh.
Major, what's his name? What does it sound like? A major?
Well, it's 5:30 already. Spike, you may have trouble catching a cab at this hour.
If you want to talk privately, why don't you just say so?
I just did. Mr. Matthews, you and I might take some time to finish our drink. Do you mind, Miss Thorndyke?
Jim, Grant and I trust you implicitly.
Thank you.
I'm very happy about this, Grant.
Miss Thorndyke, you may as well wait too. That's what I was going to talk about. Lock the door, Spike. You mind being seated? Naturally, Mr. Matthews, when your name first came up, I made some inquiries, and it seems that there's been some talk about you two.
Oh, there's been that kind of gossip about every candidate except Herbert Hoover. They didn't pull it on Hoover because nobody would have believed it.
No grounds for talk, Jim. Mr. Matthews and I are just very good friends.
You see,
Period.
Mr. Matthews, while Miss Thorndyke happens to be single, you are a married man with 2 children.
Well, if you consider that to be a vital factor, I guess that ends it.
What's the answer, Jim?
It's not my problem. But if it were, you two would not be seen together from now on.
Now, wait a minute, Jim.
You can't get to first base against a whispering campaign.
Can I get a word in here? Perhaps Kay's friendship means more to me than all his
That's
political...
all I needed to hear, Grant. Jim's right. We don't see each other from now on.
I knew she'd feel that way, and I think she'll agree with the next step. I think Mrs. Matthews should be down here with her husband, and I'd like to see her make that trip with him.
Brother,
Now, that is a... Wait a minute, Jim.
Brother Conover, you have just ended the shortest political campaign on record. If my wife knew I was even thinking of myself as president of these United States, you don't know my wife, she'd call me Nappy every other minute.
Nappy?
Nappy, yeah, that's short for Napoleon. That's what she calls me when I get a little too big for my britches, which is quite often.
I know what Grant means. The world is full of wives who devote their time to clipping their husband's wings.
Now, Kate, that's not quite fair to Mary. Mr. Conover, I don't want you to get the wrong impression about my wife. She's a very attractive woman and a very bright one. It's just that, a man can just take so much criticism.
If you become a candidate, you'll have to take a lot of criticism.
Yeah, your wife might be good practice for you.
We've
Toughen
got-
you up.
We have got to kill this gossip. The American people want to see a candidate campaigning with his wife. It's an American tradition. Otherwise, you can forget the whole thing.
Grant knows what's fair and what isn't. Besides which, you have a very important phone call to her. Remember?
Yes, my son's birthday. I should have called long ago. May I use that?
Oh, please.
What's the number here? This one?
That's right. It's District 6530.
This is District 6530. I'm calling Great Wood, Long Island. Yeah. The number is 247. Please. Little guy is 8 today.
You'll talk to Mary, Grant?
You want me to?
I want anything that'll get you where you belong.
Invite her to stay here, of course.
No way for a fellow to be elected president without his wife knowing about it, is there? Hello. Hello, Swenson. Hello, Buck. How are you? Put Mrs. Matthews on. Yeah. What's all that noise? Oh, the birthday party. Hello, Joyce. How are you, sweetheart? It's my daughter. She's 10. Hello, Butch. Is that you, son? How are you? Happy birthday! Well, I can't sing it now. Yeah. Hello? Hello. Hello, Mary. Mary, could you get the kids off the other phone? Okay, Mary. Now, I can't sing it here. Now, don't call me Nappy. No. All right. All right. You're gonna love this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Truman's gonna get the musical
Happy
bow.
birthday, dear Butch. Happy birthday to you. Flat. I was not flat. Look, Mary, I'm here in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to make a tour of the plants. Hello, Butch. Yeah. Look, Mary, it's a little too tough over the phone. Could you come down here, do you suppose? Yeah. We'll stay with Jim Conover. Conover. Oh, he's sort of a ham. I'll send you the address. Yeah. Mary, come, please, will you? All right, dear. Yes, Butch, yeah, I know. Yes, sweetheart, yes, goodbye. Goodbye.
She's coming?
Yes, heaven help me. And when she gets here, she's to be told the whole story. And if she changes her mind and decides to go back home, nobody's to interfere with her. Is that understood?
Funny world. I want you to be president, so I go back to New York and you tour the country with your wife.
Politics makes strange bedfellows.
Come in. Hello, Grant. That was for People's Choice.
This fantastic notion had me thinking about myself so much I forgot there were others.
Just talking at home on the phone did that to you?
Okay, Mary and the kids can't be dismissed with a wave of the mind.
Still dragging around some of those little chains, aren't you, Grant?
What chains?
Those little chains of middle-class morality that have kept big men down through all the ages.
Nothing's dragging me down. I just want everything out in the open. No more hiding in the dark. No more playing both ends against the middle.
No more White House.
No, Kay. No White House. Sounded like a pipe dream anyway.
No pipe dream to me. I believe in you.
I know you do, Kay, and I know just what you've meant to me. But
Look, Grant, don't you suppose I knew what was going to happen to me if you ran for president? Don't you suppose I knew there had to be a Mary if there was going to be a White House?
well, your knowing it doesn't make it any easier.
Have I asked for it any easier? I'm the corner of the triangle who's going to take the beating.
I'm not going to let you take that beating.
Yes, you are. Go after the biggest and the best there is. You'll make a wonderful president. And if someone suffers, so what? As my father used to say, life is war, don't count the casualties. Grant, I think I know you, and I know I love you. If you're in the White House, I'll be in the White House, whether I'm in New York or on the moon.
You're a great gal, Kay.
Come in.
Oh, conference. I'll be
No,
back.
come on in, Jim. I think I'll go down to the White House and inspect the plumbing. I'll see you later.
That's a mighty big man, Jim.
Yes, mighty big man with a mighty small chance.
Oh,
Okay, do you mind if I, let my hair down?
it's your hair.
With no Roosevelt to run against, it's green pastures again for Republicans. So I dig up enough money to rent this house for 2 years and think, I'll angle my way back into politics. Do I get a bid from Taft, Dewey, Vandenberg, and Stassen to manage their campaigns? I do not. See, the Harding gang stink is still on me, they all say. And so, this house becomes a boarding house for a bunch of political has-beens who have no bandwagon to get on, and you come along with your airline builder. And me, the best political brain in this country outside of Jim Farley, I'm now nursing a rank amateur like Grant Matthews, a mixed-up guy who sees ideals out of one eye and ambition out of the other. A guy who hates politicians. You heard him. A guy with a busted-up home that will be poison at the polls.
Jim, wouldn't you like to become chairman of the Republican Party?
I would give my right arm up to here to become chairman of the Republican Party. Say, are you making commitments for him?
Get that hair up again. What's the matter with you? You getting old or something? Stomach in, chin up.
Kay.
Why do you think I brought Grant to you? Because I know you're the best politician in the country?
Kay, a stubborn, rank amateur.
Wilkie was a stubborn, rank amateur. Get that political brain of yours working again. This is the year of the dark horse.
The best that we could hope to go into that convention with would be a small handful of delegates.
Communists have taken over whole countries with a small handful of delegates.
This guy worries me. The way he shoots his mouth off, he'll make enemies.
I'm sending Spike along for just that.
Oh, Spike, I need Spike like I need a hole in the head.
Jim, the Thorndike Press needs a new vice president, sort of a silent partner who can advise on political matters, good salary expense account, which might even include a 4-year lease on this house.
Win or lose?
Win or lose.
Well, the dark horse is getting whiter, but just so I don't stumble over things in the dark, Kay, what's your stake in all of this?
Oh, I want nothing.
No, people who want nothing worry me. The price isn't right. You know I know about your father and the Republican Party.
Then you also know they've given me the beautiful brush off ever since. On such occasions, they've even seen fit to describe the support of my newspaper like the kiss of death. I thought if I could present the country and the Republican Party with the next president of the United States, it would give me more than a little pleasure to see certain heads roll.
Well, if they're the same heads I'm thinking of, I'll hold the axe.
Oh, Jim, let's put this thing over. He's the ideal man. The rare combination of sincerity and drive that the common herd will go for. They think he's one of them. He thinks he's one of them.
But is he the kind of man that we can handle? Will he play ball?
He's in love with me, Jim.
Okay, you can lead a dark horse to water with that love stuff, but can you make him drink?
A moment ago, you very shrewdly observed that Grant sees ideals out of one eye and ambition out of the other. You were dead right.
Mm-hmm.
But wait till that presidential bug really bites. Wait till he sees the White House out of both eyes, and he'll drink.
And so will I.
No, lights still up. Lights are still up.
What?
The lights don't go down there.
No light cue?
No light cue. Go on. Just come in, Spike.
Mrs. Matthews?
Of course, picking her up at the airport now.
Jim, it's all right to convince the world that there's nothing between me and Mr. Matthews, but don't bother trying to convince Mrs. Matthews.
I thought that was the idea.
Oh. Spike, you're so naive. I want her against me. I want her fighting for him. That way she'll do everything possible to get him elected.
Women!
What is the convention out there?
My editors, I had them fly in.
But now they'll know everything.
Don't worry, Jim. We're in business.
Public response to my line of guff astounding. If I throw my hat in the ring, does my head go with it? Grant Matthews. Well, the bug is beginning to bite.
You're so right. Now we can really go to work. My reports on him have been terrific. What have you heard?
Nothing. Goes over well with the mob, no doubt about that.
Who told you that?
Well, he was a big hit in the Northwest. Los
Yeah?
Angeles was fine too, but that's a pushover town. It's the Midwest that really
Yeah, I
worries
know.
me.
He's in Wichita this noon, big labor rally. Detroit tonight, big business banquet, that's it.
I've got my fingers crossed. If he gets by those two, we are in business.
How do your political friends feel about him?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Ed Lauterbach wants in.
Well,
Wanted to see if you'd stand for Lauterbach.
we'll stand for anyone if they've got delegates.
Even Bill Hardy.
Oh, you're getting under the rocks for that one.
Oh, they're the ones who do the work. The hungry ones.
Okay, Jim. Bill Hardy, too.
Good.
Send them in.
Good morning, Mrs. Thorndike. Good morning, Miss Thorndike.
Good morning. Sorry to have kept you waiting. You know our new political advisor, Mr. Conover.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
First of all, I want to thank you all for the very fine job you've done. You haven't always followed my advice in the past. You've been very lenient, considering that your boss is a woman and still under 60. I've asked you all to come here today because on this one issue, there can be no deviation from my instructions. I want the Republican convention deadlocked.
Who are we working for? The Democrats?
You're working for the Thorndike Press. And the Thorndike Press will have its own candidate. And that is why that convention must be deadlocked. And it won't be unless the leading candidates are so sore at each other that they won't combine forces. Is that clear? I want Dewey sore at Taft, Taft sore at Vandenberg, Vandenberg sore at Stassen, and all of them sore at Eisenhower and MacArthur. Use their wives, their kids, their Aunt Marthas, but get them sore. Dig up anything you can.
Chief, I've got nothing against your candidate. We all know who it is, and I'll work for him in any way that I legitimately can. But that's as far as I can go.
Oh, Mr. Bradbury, would you feel happier working for some other newspaper?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think I would.
I think that can
The
be
arrogance of
arranged.
this is unbelievable.
Anyone else? Now is the
Astounding.
time. On this issue, I am quite prepared to replace all of you.
Miss Thorndike, you're mad.
You're bad as your father. You can accept my resignation right now.
That goes for me, too.
That's exactly the way I feel.
All right, get out. All of you editors, a dime a dozen. Send them in.
It's for Mr. Conover. Wichita's calling.
Oh, that'd be Brander. I had him fly out to hear Matthews. Hello, JB. How are you? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There must be some mistake. Now, JB, everything is going to be all right. Wait a minute. He hung up.
What happened?
According to Brander, Grant has blown his top on labor.
Yes?
Mr. McManus from Wichita.
Spike, what happened?
Grant just lost the labor vote.
Well, I just sent you along to prevent just that.
I couldn't help it, I tell you. He's gotten away from me.
Oh, you're a great campaign manager.
Didn't I ask you last week to coordinate it?
No, and I'll tell you why. I touted him off that labor stuff in Denver. She knew he'd change his mind, and she started throwing those harpoons.
You mean
into
his
him.
wife?
I don't mean his Aunt Tilly. You sent the wrong game on this trip, that's all.
Oh, and I talked him into taking her along.
What's he talking about tonight in Detroit?
How would I know? I lost my Ouija board.
I told you we couldn't trust this guy putting in his own stuff. If he blows his top on business the way he has on labor, well, I'll blow mine.
That woman has got to him. She's been feeding him that to thine own self be true diet. Jim, get out to Detroit as fast as you can. Spike, Jim's flying out.
Book Cadillac Hotel.